Hey everybody, Jim Gonzalez here, EDI support. It's another Wednesday here, of course, in Pennsylvania. It's dreary and getting colder, so it's nice and rainy. Hopefully, you're getting some nice warm weather where you're at. And today, I get to jump into how to improve decision making by using data analytics and EDI. So, a lot of people never truly sit down and look at a high level view of their full EDI system. And what I mean by that is, what is that system truly costing you over time? Are you analyzing your chargebacks? Are you analyzing your workforce, whether they're on staff or offshore, or however you look at it, consultants, all of those type of things? What's your structure? What are you paying for? What is it costing you truly in time? Time, of course, is money when you're running a business. Staffing, software, transaction fees, all of those things. What is that EDI cost? And how you do that is through data analytics. You can look at, again, I'm going to give you somewhat of a breakdown. You can look at your fees and your fines. You can look at your software costs, whether on-prem or a third-party service provider. You can look at your workforce. What is your workforce costing you to handle just EDI related? How many hours a week? If you don't have dedicated people, how many hours a week are you looking at? And what are you paying those people? So you start to get into that mindset of where data and analytics fall suit into EDI. So that's just one piece of the aspect that you can look at. And typically people look at that as the return on investment. Okay, and you can measure it however you want. You can look at the KPIs and you can do all these different things that you want to do in looking at EDI as a whole and your data sources and those type of things. But I want to start to get your mindset of looking at the inefficiencies in your process, the financial insights, the market insights. What does this integration really look like? And then start to make more of your strategic decisions based on that. So you never want to be where this is typically a cost. You want to look at it as more of a profit center. People look at, EDI, support, all those different things as, oh, well, this is a cost to the company. It's a cost in the initial, but over time, it should really become profit because you're not having to, if we look order to cash, you're not having to take people and physically have them enter in these orders. Take the phone calls, take the emails. If you still have fax machines, get it off the fax machine and hand key it in. And then go and hand key invoices and go to the customer and say, hey, here's your invoice, or mail it or fax it, or however you're going to look at it. So you have to start looking at, you think of it as a cost, and people do, but it actually becomes more of a profit center because the reducing of these issues. And if you're literally still looking at it as a cost, there's a problem with your EDI system. There's a problem with your integrations. There's things that you need to delve into and figure out. And as I call it, unwind that spaghetti, get rid of all these issues that you got going on and you tackle them one piece at a time. But the only way you're going to realize it is through data. Okay. Through analyzing the data, analyzing what you got going on and those type of things. So hopefully that set the mindset when you're looking at EDI and data analytics and understanding how it plays a role in those, decision makings, whether it's to get a new system, put an EDI system in place. A lot of people come and that are new to EDI and they say, well, that's costly. And I simply say to them, okay, what's it going to cost you to do it manually? What's it going to cost you to have you take it internal without EDI? Are you losing revenue? Are you not gaining business because you're not EDI compliant or set up with integration or set up in the means that individuals don't have to talk to certain individuals directly, and the computers are handling a good amount of the work? See, you're looking at it from a short sight of, hey, I need to set this up, and wow, this is costly, but you really got to change that mindset. Start looking at it as to, what are you going to gain? Are you going to be able to move resources around and get things taken care of? So there's that mindset of the data that you get and the data that you take on, and helping to mitigate risks and helping to take care of things. And if you already have a system in place, you have to use the data to figure out, what are you really spending? When you get down to it, what are you really spending on your EDI? And are there ways to cut that cost? It's that old saying of, you have to spend money to make money. It happens in EDI. You have to spend money typically to reduce issues in one facet or form, whether that's people, software, or a combination. So think about it that way. And there's different tools that are out there when you're analyzing data. You can look at Tableau, you can look at Microsoft BI, Power BI, you can do SaaS analytics, you can do QuickView. You can do those different systems, and I'm not going to tell you which one is the best. The biggest thing is do you have actual access to the data? If you're using a third-party company, you should still have access to your data. So now we're going to start, now that I have the mindset going, and now that I've listed off a couple different platforms that you can use, and those different platforms have different ways of handling and setups and reportings and their own specialties. Like if you look out there, like, again, I'm just throwing it out there. If you look out there, Power BI, you'll see there's people that are dedicated just to knowing Power BI. It's such an involved tool and has so many things that you can do with it. You need a specialized person that works in that all the time, or to get training on it. It's just my thoughts, because the reports can be very powerful when they're set up correctly, when the data is correct, when all of those things. So also a part of this is knowing and understanding how to scrub your data for making sure that your data is correct. And we'll get into that also. I know I jump around a little bit, but hopefully everybody's following what we're talking about today. So what are the types of data that you can analyze in an EDI ecosystem? In an order to cash, it may be your purchase order data. How many purchase orders are you receiving? What are those purchase order values? Where are you typically shipping them to? All the pieces of a purchase order. It also may be your 852. So purchase orders in 850 or 875 typically, or in orders in Edifact, and there's different ones. But anyways, another one is an 852, which is product activity data. So a product activity data in typical usage that I come across or that I see in an order to cash or in a point of sale or consignment is, think of it this way. When somebody actually goes and purchases an item at an individual store and it's scanned at the point of sale system or POS system, that generates back to maybe the 852. Okay. That data in an 852 is information as to what's been happening, what's going on, what are you looking at sales-wise out of all their different stores for a particular trading partner. So 852 analyzed all the time. People love to get the 852, run reports against it, see what sales are occurring, what different pieces of the country, and all of these things to break it down and understand your quantity loads, understand your inventory movement, understand all of these things. So yes, you may use a third-party provider, but as you grow, you still want maybe that data so that you can analyze it, so that you can look at it straight from the source. There also may be that you're looking at your healthcare claims. How many claims are we doing? How many submissions are we doing per month? How many of a particular thing are being sent out? For if you're a major, provider, RCM, if you're one of these individuals that are out there that are sending claims, sending submissions, doing all these things on a regular basis for a lot of other people, well, guess what? Your senior level individuals may want to know, what are we looking at there? What are we processing? What's going out? Are we seeing a trend? Is that trend happen over the year? So in, the summer months, we've seen more claims that are being processed compared to the winter months, or vice versa. So what's going on there? Can we take that information, just like in pharmaceuticals? You're going to look at those trends, the things that are occurring. Because once you have that information and you have that data and you can report on it, you can use it. If you're in automotive and you're dealing with the 830 documents, which are forecasting, automotive loves to use forecast documents. There's other industries that also use manufacturing, that kind of stuff. But automotive heavily uses 830s with forecasting, understanding how the documents are going. So the forecasting is, think of it this way. If you get it on a monthly basis, here's what we're forecasting that we're going to need as far as parts, as far as products, as far as, and here's maybe a weekly breakdown of what we're looking at. Because we know in automotive that our heavy weeks are, the second week of the month. That's when we're really churning out cars or trucks or whatever it may be. So they do forecasting so that their suppliers can be geared up to supply what's needed. And the manufacturers are able to get those parts that they're requesting fulfilled. Because if the chain of events happens that the parts aren't available, well, guess what? The ultimate product's not being shipped out to the standard consumer. So analytics into what are those 830 documents containing? What items are they? When are they forecasted for? Putting it into an easy, readable report to share amongst your team to know, okay, this is what we're looking at. Or, okay, we're on an upward trend, or we're on a flat line, or we're on a downward trend. What's going on? Is there something happening in a supply chain? Is there something happening with our customers? Is it a global change that's occurring? Because now you might not want to order so many pieces of materials to make those finished goods. So your data analytics are going to play key in figuring out the future of your company or the existence of your company right now. It can help you with snapshot views. As somebody that just really takes the focus of moving data, I see clients looking at it from that aspect. Hey, we need this. Can we take this data that's coming through and store it into a SQL database so that we can run reports against it? Or put it into Oracle so we can run reports against it? Or put it into our ERP or our WMS or our TMS system, and then we can build off reports inside of those systems. People are asking for it on a constant basis. Even people that are using third-party providers, the big ones. Now, a lot of the big ones don't give you straight connection into the data. They don't give you an API into it. They don't give you an easy way of exporting or seeing that data. Or if they do, you're paying extra for it. It's your data. Yes, you're essentially leasing their system, but why are you paying extra for your data? This is my information. These are my purchase orders. These are my invoices. Why am I paying extra to obtain the data? So you have to keep that in mind when you're looking at contracts too. So there's different kinds of data that you can look at. You can look at error and exception data. You can look at customer data, performance metrics, financial data. When it comes to financial data, maybe you're a banking institution and you want to see the invoices and then the 820 invoices, 810s or 880s that are being sent out, and maybe they're being factored upon. Look into factoring. You'll understand what that is. But you may get 820s, which are cash receipts. Well, now you want to do analytics of those 820s and the payments that are being sent, and how frequent are they being sent? Do you get them on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, first Monday of the month? What is it? Because now you can see your cash flow. So do you see how the data links to a lot of pieces of your organization? And if you have it, you can run reports. You can do trends. You can do effectiveness. You can do compliance and contractual agreements. You can look at a lot of things that are a part of your company. As a small company, we're not huge. I do EDI and data integration, and I use the data. The data to me and numbers to me mean everything. Because people can tell me until I'm blue in the face, oh, your company's doing great, but until I analyze the data, that's when I truly know. By looking at, billable time, looking at all these different things. So put yourself into that mindset of being the owner and thinking of, what are these things going to help me to run my department a little bit better? Whether I'm in a warehouse or I'm sitting in accounts receivable or accounts payable, or I'm looking from an overall company standpoint, the data is there. Data does not lie unless it's manipulated. And I had a client reach out and say, hey, we're getting data from a third-party provider, and that data seems to change. Like, it's weird. We get the data at the first of the month, and then by the 14th of the month, the data from the first of the month is different when we analyze it and look at it. And I said, okay, you have access to the data. We'd have to take a look, and we'd have to do an analysis of understanding what's changing it. Is there forecast documents that are coming in? Is there purchase order changes that are coming in? What else is coming in that's affecting that data? Or, I hate to say it, is the third-party system that they're running their own analytics, is there something wrong with it? Are they not doing calculations correctly in their process? So don't always believe what a third party is providing to you. I typically say you got to look at if it's bad data, it's bad information and it's bad reporting. So you have to look at the data yourself and analyze it and see what's going on and try to trace it down. So those are the things that you want to look at, and we went through real world examples. Like I said, in the retail industry, you'll be looking at inventory. You'll be looking at product movement. You'll be looking at the various ship tos and stores, and they may be across the basis. So you might realize, hey, my product sells a lot better in the Midwest than it does in the South. So where am I going to ramp up advertising efforts? Where am I going to ramp up my marketing? I'm going to put it where it's hitting home and see what I can drive those forces. And maybe in the South, I might do some more trickling. I may do some things that we might try out to see if I can get a lift out of it. But I definitely want to go where I know the action is, and I want to go where things are happening. So that may be one piece. Again, in automotive industry, you're looking to enhance the supply chain efficiency. You're looking to make sure that you have all of the data to say when inventory is moving, when the manufacturer is going to have that product ready for you to finalize those goods. All those things come into play. So you're going to be looking at that continuous information that's flowing in. Healthcare sector, again, streamlining billing, looking at compliance, looking at the number of rejections that you're receiving. Because in healthcare and in billing, you got to think of it this way. For every submission that I put in, every claims that I put in, every rejection that comes back, I'm extending that payment. I'm extending when I get those things taken care of. So sometimes it's $100,000 that you're waiting on payment for. Well, if it's $100,000 and it's taking you 6 months to get 50,000 of that 100,000, there's a problem. You're now in a financial crunch because you don't have the payments flowing and you're not identifying the billing errors and you're not tracking your reimbursements. You're not doing all of those things to understand your patterns. Again, data analytics. So one of the other things that I want to hit here at the end, I know we're coming near the end of the time, is the guidance on how to start integrating data analytics with EDI, including the selection of tools and partners. You have to look at what industry are you in? What are you looking to analyze? What is it? Start off small. Don't think that you are going to obtain everything and you're going to run these reports and you're going to build off and you're going to be efficient. It's not going to happen. chew it easily. As I say, how do you eat a whale? One bite at a time. If you've never done it before and you've never done analytics, you have to look at, first off, where are you going to store the data? And let me take a step back. Who can help you to do that? Who can help you in the EDI and integration world that can help you with getting the data and getting it stored into a certain aspect that then you can run reports off of? We're good at, if we have access, again, to the data, we move data. So if you say to us, hey, I've never done data analytics and we want to start looking into this, we can help you by, hey, where can we take that data and where do you want us to apply it to? Is it a purchase order? Is it a claim? What is it? And we'll put it into a database, a SQL database, Oracle, whatever you need. And then you can start making the selection of what data do you need. So you can start collecting it, storing it, and then look at what do you need? Which tool is going to help you? So you have to define your objectives. You have to assess your current EDI setup to look at, do you even have access to it? And if you do, what access do you have? You have to choose the right tools always. And you have to choose the right partners. Who's the right people to help you out? Whether it's EDI support or somebody else, any of those things. Now, again, we don't do Power BI. It's not our thing. We'll get you the data. We'll get it stored. You run the reports. You use Tableau. You use all those different tools that are out there. That's not what we do. We're not going to analyze it. We're not going to look into it. If there's an issue or an error with your translations or sending data and receiving data, any of those type of things we'll do. But we're not getting into how to do data analytics on a perceived basis for cash movement, for any of those type of things. But we'll help you. If you say, hey, listen, we're using this EDI tool and we need help APIing the data out of there and getting it stored into a SQL database, we can do that. You have to see what's your accessibility to it. So as you're going through that and you're handling, what's our testing of the integration look like? What's our integration customizing, training your team, monitoring and optimizing, compliance and security, evolving with advancements. So a lot of these things that fall into this is a part of setting with the right team, setting with what your goals are, and working from there. Take it a step at a time. Don't look at the whole thing and go, I need to do all of this, because you're going to get overwhelmed. Start getting the data, start storing it if you don't already have it stored. Start looking at, hey, what can we use here to help my sales team? What can I use here to help the growth of my company? What can I use here to help my warehousing individuals for storing items, moving items? What can I use here for understanding how my claims are doing, my submissions are doing, my errors are doing? All of those things. Because if you're just working head down and you're not thinking of those things that are going on around you, there's going to be a problem. And analytics plays a big part in all of that. So anyways, that's what I have for you today. Just getting that mind going, get thinking about data analytics and how EDI and integrations play a part of that or have a little key to that. Again, Jim Gonzalez, EDI support. I value you looking and watching and joining in and watching these videos. And of course, check out our LinkedIn, check out our YouTube channel, check out our Discord channel. All the links are going to be shared in the comment section. Give us thumbs, give us likes, give us comments into understanding what's going on. Understanding as to other topics and other things that you want me to talk about, or bring other individuals on to talk about. When it's dealing with EDI, API, and integrations, this is what we do day in and day out. So if there's any way that I can help you out, I don't mind, just reach out. I typically say to people, if it's looking for, education, free information, those type of things, check out our Discord. There's a lot of people outside of just myself that are in there that are trying to share knowledge, and they're across the world. We have over 600 people that are sitting in there right now as of today. So you take care. I will talk to you next week, next Wednesday. Have a great week, and hopefully it gets sunny here in Pennsylvania and we get rid of this rain. Bye-bye. Have a great day.